Welcome to today's FTSE and Dax analysis. It's the 23rd of May 2023 and we're going to do a quick recap as always. Yesterday I mentioned I did close out that trade that I had already running, but I mentioned that we might come down and see this sort of confluence down here and hit the low and maybe look for a buy. I wasn't overly confident, but I did put the order in. It was the only order I put in for the day. And woke up this morning, got about 50 points out of that one. So that was a good little win. I'll quickly jump over to the UK for the recap. Movement of about 34 points in total. So the range for the day. There wasn't much range. I wasn't overly excited about any setups. Potentially you could have taken this spike long because that was quite strong price action off that close gap. So it cleared out the gap. And then it went up to the R1. So not the worst trade setup. It was only 25 points. And as for a stop loss, it wouldn't have been that great a risk reward because who knows, that could have kept going. But that is a nice spike outside of the Bollinger Band to touch that gap. On a price action basis, not necessarily the pivot points, could have been an okay long. Because I wasn't watching the market, I set my orders and I walk away. Didn't get into that one. Nothing really setting up on the UK there. As I expected. I didn't sort of hope for anything too exciting. Now, looking at the DAX for today, we've kind of got some triple band action here. The range is about 70 points. Will we spike out of either one of these? I'm not too sure. The range is very tight. There's no high impact news that I've seen coming up today, so it could be a fairly quiet day. I'd be tempted to look for a sell from the high or a buy from perhaps the yellow line to break out short. But then again, the risk reward isn't really all that worthwhile. So I'm going to have a think about that one, whether it's worth it. Obviously price action traders, if you do see a bit more activity push outside of these levels, the R2 or S2, since we've got the pricing up here around this orange level here for today. So yesterday's pricing could act as a bit of an area to push away from. And also we did have 2 days ago, or sorry, that was on the 19th, on the Friday, some activity around our current R3. So as usual, big pushes outside of the Bollinger Band into these far away levels, the extensions, could be a nice sort of retracement area. As for these triple bands today, it's very tight. Very close together, and the risk reward doesn't seem all that worthwhile for the triple band rejections, but just depends whether the market wants to move quite a bit today or if it's going to just go slow and steady. We've seen here earlier today in the pre-market, it's kind of come up. I exited my trade right at the perfect point and it sort of creeps down for the rest of the day. In an hour and a half, we'll see the market open and we'll see whether it sticks within these levels here. So nothing too confident on the DAX. Over to the FTSE. Same again, we didn't get much activity yesterday, so we don't have too much to go off other than perhaps a buy off this sort of confluence area down here and the lows. If the market sort of pushes out, spikes down and kind of comes back up. The only issue is, since there was very little movement on the previous day, we don't have too much activity to go off and the market hasn't been sort of going anywhere. If we go to a 4 hour and zoom in, the market's sort of been really hanging around this one area all month. So it hasn't sort of broken out of this kind of channel for the whole month basically, which isn't very exciting trading, but it is what it is. So again, nothing too much setting up on the FTSE except for maybe a buy off the low and the breakout short sort of an area. There's only 20 points up to the close gap, 30 points up to the high, and then you're looking at, the S3 is about 30 points away from that. So the risk reward isn't huge, like it's not great. So again, today, just like yesterday, not the best trading conditions in the world. Patience is key, and that's it from me really, guys. Good luck today, and we'll see you tomorrow.